class. In today's video, we're going to go over 2.03 music theory scales. And this is really the building blocks of all of music. This is the basic pattern that everything is formed around. So today we're going to learn about accidentals so that we can start to identify scales. And we'll know we got it when we can identify whole versus half steps. So I want you to be able to describe the purpose of accidentals and how they're used to identify the flat keys on the piano. So accidentals, these either raise or lower a pitch by 1/2 step. So a sharp is what looks kind of like a hashtag. Flat looks a little bit like a lowercase b, and then this little symbol is called a natural. So a sharp raises the sound or the pitch 1/2 step. So if the note on the staff is an F and you see an F with a sharp next to it, it raises it just a little half step. Instead of playing the white F key, you're going to play the black key 1/2 step above. A flat lowers the note 1/2 step. So if you've got a B on the staff with a flat next to it, instead of playing the white key on the piano, you're going to play the B flat, the black key just a little bit over to play a B flat. Natural cancels any flats or sharps that were previously there. So if in a measure you see F sharp, F natural, you're going to go back down to the original F with no sharps or flats. It's kind of like cancel, never mind that. The word I want to teach you is inharmonic. Inharmonic is basically, it means a synonym. They're musical synonyms, and they're two notes that have the same identical pitch, but they're spelled differently. So they have the exact same meaning, but they're spelled differently. So think in your head of some things that are synonyms. Think of a couple synonyms that you can think of, like sweater or cardigan. It means the same thing. It means the same thing. They're just different words. So our inharmonic notes are typically our black keys, but they can be other keys as well. But if you look on this picture of this piano keyboard, right here where my pointer is, you can see a C sharp and D flat. I play the same key on the piano. They have the exact same pitch, but they're spelled differently depending on the composer's needs. Same thing right here, A sharp and B flat. It's the same key on the piano. They're inharmonic, but how they're spelled, how they're written in the music depends on the composer's needs. So there's a couple different types of scales. Chromatic scales are when you play every single note on the keyboard, all the white keys, all the black keys in order, just going right up. Major scale follows a pattern of whole, half step. Whole, half. Let's try saying that 5 times fast. So whole, half, whole, half. In our minor scales, we have 3 different kinds of minor scales. We have natural minor, harmonic, and melodic. So a natural minor scale has a whole, half, whole, half, whole. If you notice where this lovely little comma is, it's the same pattern as the major scale, just shifted a little bit. We just took the last 2 spaces and stuck it on the front. So it's going to have the same notes. They're just stuck on the front. Harmonic, the 7th scale degree, so if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, is going to be raised by 1/2 step. It's going to have a sharp on it. Melodic, the 6th and the 7th are going to be raised, so they're going to have sharps on them. So let me show you how to identify whole and half steps looking at the piano keyboard. I'm going to insert some shapes. All right, so a whole step is going from a note and skipping a note in between. So like C to D is a whole step because I skip that black note in between. But on the reverse, E to F is a half step. If you see, I don't skip any notes in between. I go straight from E to F. There's no black note to skip in between. D to E is a whole step. See, I skip this black key in between. F to G is a whole step because I skip the black note. B to C, that's a half step because I don't skip a note. But from here, E flat to E, that's a half step. They're rubbing right up against each other. I don't skip anything to move forward. Now we're going to build a major scale together. We're going to do this bass clef here. We start on the letter A. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to put in our notes. I'm going to enter some shapes to be our notes. There we go. There's my note. Line, space, line, space, line, space. Whoops, wrong thing to copy. Line. All right, I'm going to insert my text box and we're going to name the scale. Now we're going to label our notes. So if you remember from our bass clef, our spaces are all cows eat grass. So we're going to start with letter A, and I'm just going to fill in all the notes. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Remember, it doesn't go to H. We go back to A. We start over at A. But we're not completely done. To make a major scale, we need to put in those steps, the whole, or the whole, half, whole, half. That's really hard to say. So we're going to go back over to our piano keyboard. So A to B is a whole step. The B to C, that's a half step. Remember, we went whole, half. So we need to go to C sharp. So I'm going to put in a sharp next to the C. Remember, spelling is important. Just like in your English class, it's important in music. If you spell it wrong in the music, it's not going to sound right. It's going to sound wrong. So we did whole, half. C to D is a half. D to E is a whole. But E to F, that's a half. And we need it to be a whole. So we need to put an F sharp. And we need to make another whole step. So we're at F sharp, so we need to go to G sharp. And G sharp back to A is a half, and we end on a half. So this would be the correct spelling of our scale. You can practice with this one on your own. It starts on letter B. I'm gonna let you do that one on your own. Some good practice. Remember, go to your melodic studies in the course under course content and practice writing in some of these notes on your own. So next I'm going to show you some clips of a C major scale versus an A minor scale. And I want you to listen to the difference between the two. Now, a C major scale and an A minor scale, they're inharmonic, meaning they use the same notes, they just are based on a slightly different pattern. C major is centered around C, A minor is centered around A. So I want you to listen to how they sound different just by putting those notes in a different pattern.